Sex trafficking. Who are the pimps? Who are the sex traffickers? Welcome, everyone. My name is Susan Patterson. I'm a national leader in the fight against human trafficking and director of Through God's Grace Ministry, whose mission is to equip the faith community to take action in the fight against human trafficking. We accomplish that goal with events and videos that show the faith community how to take action, with videos like this one, so that people better understand the crime of sex trafficking. Over 82% of sex trafficking is run by organized crime. We are referring to the Mexican cartel, who operates throughout the U.S., and the Italian mafia, who's mostly on the East Coast. Also, we have the Russian mafia, who services the wealthy elite by providing them with beautiful Russian girls. A large and powerful effort are the Hispanic transnational gangs who have moved from drugs to sex trafficking because it is far more lucrative. These gangs, like many gangs, coordinate nationally. Then we have more local efforts, like biker gangs. With regard to race, the pimps and traffickers mostly represent the race in the area where they operate. For instance, in Wyoming, which is 92% white, here is a picture of a group of traffickers that were busted in Casper. So why does Hollywood and many people think that most pimps are black? The answer is that the black pimps or sex traffickers have made themselves highly visible because their status to being a pimp. They have vast Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram followings. They have scores of rap songs glorifying what a great pimp they are. For example, there's Pretty Ho, who use social media to solicit minors and adults to sell them for sex and encourage youth to become pimps. This 22-year-old with over 4,000 Twitter followers would boast about how she would throw bleach on her victims and beat them with a broom to keep them in line. Her pimp followers cheered her on. She was arrested in 2018 and got 15 years in prison. Pimp Snooki now has over 2 million hits on his video, where he shares step by step how he would trap his victims, how his stable of women would groom his victims to call him daddy, and how to sell sex. This Milwaukee pimp got 20 years in prison in 2021. The point I'm trying to make here regarding visibility is that if a Russian gang member or a member of the Mexican cartel tried to create a social media following, they would be taken out. For the mafia or Mexican cartel, their intent is to stay invisible so they don't get caught. While organized crime dominates sex trafficking, the fact is that the black community is overrepresented when it comes to sex traffickers, which is why our ministry hosts the National Black Faith Coalition Against Human Trafficking, and we provide a section on our educational resource tab that provides specific education for the black community to equip them to fight sex trafficking. We also provide work groups on subjects like bringing Jesus to the pimps or working with black youth in such a way that they're deterred from wanting to become a pimp. You can find dates for our events and work groups on the homepage at our site. We also have a similar effort for the Hispanic community, as the transnational gangs are victimizing this community at a high rate. The sex traffickers tattoo their victims, sometimes with a barcode, so everyone knows who owns who. They also GPS chip them in case they run away so they can find them. They also control their phones so they can't call for help. The mindset of the pimp human traffickers is that their victims are property and they are businessmen and women. If the victims don't meet quota, or if they get a complaint from a buyer or a bad rating on a John board, that victim gets severely punished. They are beaten, burned, cut, waterboarded, made to take ice baths, and food is withheld. The sex traffickers operate like a business. They are connected through social media, where they share hot tips on how to gain more victims, how to market to buyers, how not to get caught, etc. In the Black community, they hold national parties called the Players Ball, where they give out the Pimp of the Year award. You can go to Netflix and search for Players Ball to see what I'm referring to. In addition to all the social media where the sex traffickers exchange hot tips, there is also a concerted effort on behalf of the sex traffickers to use social media as a marketing tool to glamorize pimping and prostitution. They use YouTube, videos, books, radio shows, Twitter, Instagram, etc. This makes it easier to trick victims, as many think they are entering into a glamorous life or that prostitution is female empowerment. Nothing could be further from the truth. The glamorization of pimping and prostitution makes it easier for these traffickers to recruit recruiters. A recruiter is usually a good-looking young man who tricks women into selling themselves for sex for their pimp. I am referring to 15, 16, 17-year-olds who are on school campuses. The bottom line is that a pimp or sex trafficker can be any race, any age, from any walk of life. We have seen blonde 16-year-olds pimping out their 15-year-old girlfriend. This makes them a sex trafficker because by definition of the law, if you are selling a minor, you are a sex trafficker. Who is dominating this trade is organized crime, and they use various ways to market their victims. People mostly think of street prostitution when they think of sex trafficking, which leads people in upscale communities to think that sex trafficking is not happening in their community. What they're not aware of is the thousands of ads that are done every day and the escort sites. To get the complete picture, do see our 2 videos on sex trafficking, who are the buyers, and sex trafficking, who are the victims. To find these videos, just go to our website and select the Education Resource tab, and these videos will be in the first section. Please do support us to raise awareness regarding what people can do to fight human trafficking and child exploitation by subscribing to this channel and liking and sharing this video. Thank you for watching.